If I know anything about the person who just clicked onto this video, I know that somewhere in your heart and soul, you are a creator. You know that you are made for more, and you know that you are in the process of creating the reality that you want to see for yourself. But that involves existing in a transitional period. It involves existing in a space between the old frequency and the new frequency. And this video, this live, is called Stream of Consciousness, where we are just coming on every single day, 12 p.m. EST, really Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. EST, and talking about what it means to create the reality that we want to exist in. All right. We are dream chasing every single day. Some days are easier than others, but what I can guarantee you is that when you take that time and energy to be around more people, to listen to more thoughts, to kind of just be in the energy of what it is that you want, you are far more likely to achieve it. Blessings. What up, Soulful Poetry? What's good? What's good? What's good? This is Stream of Consciousness. I have been going live Monday through Friday this week, just talking about what is going on in my consciousness. Right now, I'm in the process of preparing for the World Championships of Public Speaking. And when I think about the identity I want to exist in, when I say to myself, I want to be the world champion of public speaking, I'm immediately thinking, well, what does a person like that do? They probably speak very often. They probably speak frequently. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I also know that I have a very practice and natural ability to articulate myself quickly. It's crazy that I would start it on that moment, but I have an ability to articulate myself quickly. So I'm like, you know what? Let's try streaming. I've never streamed. I was like, you know what? Let's go. Let's see how this goes. Just thoughts and processes. So I'm not promising that you're gonna walk out of this stream with any level of understanding that's gonna help you move through your day. But what I will say is that I will continue to keep talking. And please let me know in the comments or in the messages like how you're feeling, where's your energy. I am live on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. And just also as I guess just a note, I am not the only species in this room. I have a bird. Her name is Milo, my precious green cheek conure, who refuses to be outside of this conversation without her. And if you ever see her, fly, land, that's who that is. Her name is Milo. Praying for your continued success. I appreciate it. At this point, I'm trying to conquer every avenue that I can as a creator. And it's interesting. So anybody in the chat, if you don't know Soulful Poetry, please follow Soulful Poetry. If you also don't know, poetry is my art form. That's the craft. That's what started this entire journey of me being a full-time artist, is poetry. Because I truly believe that if you practice poetry, then you could accomplish anything in life. Anything in life. I'm not going to hold you. I'm saying that from my heart and my soul, because if you're a poet, you're a great marketer, you are a incredible public speaker, you could be television, content creation, marketing, advertising. Like, the world is limitless for poets. Talk about how to get funding for my business. Oh, the best way to get funding for your business. For sure. We could chat about that. Right. So that's the other thing about Stream of Consciousness. If you want to check it out, be sure to join the live stream. So if you want to ask me questions about my journey, if you want to just talk about some creative challenges that you're having, this is just an opportunity for folks to come in and say something. Because, I charge for consulting. But I do know that everyone is in a space where they're trying to figure out what exactly it is that they can do and what they can build. So here's what I'm going to say to anybody who asks me questions about, whatever opportunities that you have going on today, or whatever you have going on in your life. And you're like, yo, I really need help with this thing. When you ask people questions, be as specific as possible about what you're looking for and what you do. So sometimes people will send me a DM and say, do you know of any grants I can apply for? The answer is yes, but who are you? And I don't mean it to say who are you in terms of in talking to me, but what is it that you do? It's not like someone asked me that question and I can instantly give you I'm like, oh, okay, well, so if I gave you something for a sculptor and you look at me and be like, I actually own a towing company, then I'd be like, well, I didn't know that. You gave me nothing. You gave me absolutely nothing. You dead ass just. And then also, one of the videos that I pinned on my Instagram profile is about how I charge people for consulting and stuff like that. And I get some people who kind of catch an attitude. He's like, oh, you out here charging people just to talk to you and stuff like that. If y'all saw my DMs, you would understand exactly why I charge people for consulting. If you saw my DMs, you know how many times somebody asked me for advice and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, what's going on? Like, tell me more about your situation. I'll get like 4 novels and 2 voice notes, and it'll just be somebody just talking about their life. Like, yo, my mom just like left, and like my uncle did this, and I can't believe that this happened. And I'm just like, what did you think I was going to do for you? What did you think I was going to do? And then on top of that, I think that it is an audacious action for people to take, to assume that whatever I had going on in my life, I'm going to pause and stop to empathize, hear, understand, and emotionally absorb whatever it is you have going on. The audacity. You know what I'm saying? Craziness. So I say this all to say, I am willing to answer any questions. I am willing to have conversations, but please be as specific as possible, in what it is that you do or what it is that you're asking, because I can be helpful, but that is going to be in the questions that you ask. And by the way, no matter who you talk to, if you're trying to talk to let's say there's a celebrity that you go to for a meet and greet, or if there's somebody in a higher position where it's like, oh, this person could open doors of opportunity, or they have knowledge that I could use. When you ask more specific questions, you are going to increase your likelihood of making a connection with that person, right? Because I'm going to understand that, okay, well, this isn't just somebody who's just asking to ask. This is somebody who has taken time and consideration to know who I am, or they've maybe listened to my videos before, or they have already taken steps toward figuring out what it is that they want to do. And they are here to ask a very specific question. When I go to ask somebody something, like, let's say, because I was trying to pitch to Black Effect, which is like Charlemagne. And I'm just like, hey, Charlemagne, when you talked about this inside of your book, you were discussing this. And I was interested to hear how you compare this and this together when you're actually doing this. Because then it's like, oh, wait, hold up. This isn't just, it came from somewhere. It came from somewhere. So that's what I'm asking. Okay, so question up on here. What is inspiring you today? Discipline. Discipline is inspiring me today. That's that's the name of the game. And I think I come into these live videos with a different energy every single time, right? It's like some days, I remember the first time I did this stream on Monday, I was like, my energy was much lower. I was like, the doubt. It was like a rough weekend. I was trying to figure things out. I was like, just circling in the problems that I was having over the course of the week. And, my Monday was like that. But, Tuesday, whole different energy. Because them little seeds that I was planting throughout the week, although they didn't come to fruition immediately, they did within a few days. And I was like, oh, now I'm feeling optimistic. Now I got the energy. Now I'm here to da-da-da. And at this point, the week is ending. So the week is ending. So I have all the energy to I'm still feeling the momentum of everything that's been going on. But what's inspiring me today is discipline. Because it's honestly one of the things that I have to keep saying to myself. I'm like, dang, where am I at with this? Giving myself as much grace as possible too, because I'm always, because I live in my own mind, I'm constantly aware of how much I could actually be doing at any given moment in time. That's the thing about it. Am I the only one like that? You ever think to yourself that you're like, your capacity. So when you don't give at that level of capacity, it almost feels like laziness. Does it not feel like you're choosing to operate at a lower level when you know you could be doing more? That feeling is a situation that many may not actually resonate with. Because I'll tell people that I don't feel like I'm doing enough in my business, or I don't feel like I'm doing enough here. And they'll look and they'll be like, bro, you grew 60,000 followers. You did 2 million views. What else can you do? I'm like, in here, I was president. In here, I own 3 planets. So yes, I could be doing more. I could be owning a planet. You know what I mean? There's a whole different universe that can happen. A whole different universe that can happen. So this is what preparation looks like for me. So one is that yesterday I went to perform a speech, because since I am getting ready for the World Championships, I still have to write a speech. I have to go to the World Championships with 2 speeches. I have one and I'm working on the second one. And part of the reason why I'm doing these live streams is because I'm working to articulate myself on the fly. I'm also working to talk about different topics and allowing this stream of consciousness to also play a role in what it is I'm going to write about. So I am curious if anybody who is on the live video, or if you're watching the replay of this, just comment just like some ideas. Give me some ideas to help write this speech, because I need to write this best speech in the world and I'm trying to figure out the topic. I am going to put a little bit of a frame, right? If you want to help me out, I'm gonna put a little bit of a frame. And if you do help me out, I'm gonna write down your username, right? I'm gonna make sure to write down your username, because if I choose to use if yo, that was a fire idea and we're gonna go with it, then I'm definitely gonna have to give you some credit on that front. Help me write the greatest speech in the world, okay? But I'm gonna give you some context just so that you're not, just out here shooting blindly. The World Championships of Public Speaking is happening in Vancouver, British Columbia, and it is the top 25 speakers in the world. We've been competing for 7 months, all around the globe, and the top 25, we've gotten down to it, right? I've done 4 competitions so far. I've been through like 4 or 5 rounds, technically 5, right? 5 rounds of competition to get to this point. I don't know how many thousands of people we started off with, but we are now down to top 25. What's going to happen is that there's 2 rounds. There's the semifinals round and then the final stage. Final stage is going to be top 8. Okay. To keep in the context, the people who are going to be in the room, because speeches are written or things are written, and if you want to help me write this speech, this is going to be extremely important, is that these are people coming from all around the world. Like my group, I'm pretty sure like majority of them are doctors, and they may not be medical doctors, but doctors in terms of like their what you call that, their education, right? Like their degrees. Everybody got degrees, they all, a lot of them are professional speakers, and have done those things or whatever, which, I definitely belong in the room. I'm not confused about my belonging. I'm just giving you an idea about the identity of the people in the room. And they're coming from different cultures and different backgrounds, right? So I know I have somebody in my semifinals. They're from New Zealand. I have Malaysia. I have India. I have Thailand. And the reason why I say those things is because whatever you speak about at semifinals, also the judges too, because the judges are from other places around the world. You have to write a speech more centered on a universal human experience, right? Talking about something that's really specific to an American isn't going to be super helpful. Because they may not understand the idea of like, okay, well, the best cheesesteaks is at, Willie's cheesesteaks. They're gonna be like, what cheesesteak? Where is that at? Like what? There could be things that we may seem as normal, like just in casual conversation, that for them may not be the same. But when it comes to the stage, I'm thinking about what topic am I wanting to talk about? Not even necessarily what's going on in my life, but like, what is it that I want the energy of the speech to be about? So the speech that I wrote already is called The 100, and the energy about that is transformation. This is what I mean by that, transformation. It was about how I, essentially changed my life over the course of 100 days. Right? That was what it was about. What have you spoken about already? I'm glad you asked. What got you to the top 25? It was 2 speeches, actually. I wrote one speech called I've Got This, and that was the first speech I performed. And it was honestly a speech about writing the speech. And I was just talking about how I got this. I can be the world champion of public speaking. And I was speaking this into existence back when I started competition in December of 2025. Also, here is Species. Species, say hi to internet. Say hi to internet. Yes. She is certainly an influencer bird. Good job, baby. Okay, so the first speech I ever written was one called I Got This. And then the second one I wrote was called The 100. And The 100 is, essentially about the 100 days before my 30th birthday, where I made a dramatic change in my life. If you were to scroll to the bottom of my Instagram, right? If you go all the way to the bottom, I look, sound, and operate like a completely different human being. Completely different human being, which is why I've recently started to talk a lot more about conscious creation, identity shifting, and quantum leaping. And I think that that conversation is so apparent to me because there's a bit of dysmorphia that I experience because of how different I am from the the person that I was before. Every single time if I were to show you videos of myself, you would be looking like, that's you? That's you? Matter of fact, I'm going to show you all some videos of past Queena. Let me see some of these comments. Hey, caught you again. What's up? I'm glad you caught me. I'm glad you hopped on in, you know? I'm glad you hopped on in. Try and make this consistent. Success coach. Hey, what's up? How you doing? How you feeling? Where your energy at? I'm asking people to help me write my speech for the World Championships of Public Speaking. You have to physically help me. I am just thinking about, I need ideas. I need ideas. I need to figure out what on earth am I going to write about? You know, I'm like, am I going to do transformation? Am I going to do, I was thinking about belonging, identity, failure. I'm just trying to think like it needs to be something that anybody knows what it feels like. You know, anybody knows what that, you know, and then I'm going to work on turning that into something that's like connected to who I am as a person. Okay. I'm going to work on turning that into something that's connected to me as a person. All right. So what else we got here? Energy, human energy, and energy to run all the technology. Practically, we need more energy, and it has to be sustainable. Otherwise, all will vanish. We are truly aliens. Yes, I am not over here. I am not of this planet. That is for sure. Right. And I think energy would be a good conversation. I do think that I'm gonna have to think about, because one of the things that I was thinking about talking about was beliefs, like imagination beliefs. And that it kind of goes hand in hand simply because you have to put your energy, where your attention goes, energy flows, right? And that's very much connected to the belief systems. And I was like, dang, that would be super dope if we talked about the foundation of how it is to shift your identity. True identity, transformation on a global scale, how to elevate the humanity of the world, here's the thing about that, right? And I think that its concept is great. What I'm interested, this speech needs to be 5 to 7 minutes long. I should probably also note that the World Championship speech needs to be 5 to 7 minutes long, which means that I need to be able to set my premise and understanding within the first 60 seconds. I need to be able to raise the stakes in the next 60. And then by minute 3, I need to have curved to the point where the audience is now getting they're getting the feedback. They're getting the one line. They're getting the reason as to why this is important. That's how when I write a speech, I'm breaking it. If it's a 7-minute speech, I got to do one. I put all 7 minutes there and I say, okay, what needs to happen within this 60 seconds? And that's with any story. If you're going to tell somebody, if you had 60 seconds to tell somebody who you are, you have to take that 60 and break it down to be like, okay, I'm going to tell them where I came from, what problem I solved, and how they could be of service, or how I could be of service to them. And that's how I'm going to break up my 60 seconds. Right. And then on the other side is like, what is the thing that could transform humanity? What is the thing that could elevate humanity? Because the answer to that, I assure you, I would have a different answer than you would, and then somebody else in the chat would have another answer. But but any good speech, particularly any good World Championship speech, is a speech about transformation. There needs to be a before and after. Any good story also needs a conflict. If you are telling a story and there is no conflict, there is no story. No one wants to hear a story about somebody who was good, did better, and now they're at their best. Like you need something that shows struggle. And why is that? Because struggle is a universal experience. If you don't have that, nobody can relate to you because everybody who is listening to your story has experienced some level of struggle before. That's why it exists, right? But yeah, let me show you some of my former selves, right? If you were to have met me at any given point in time, I don't even know. Actually, you know where's a good place to find my former self? Is Facebook. I love myself some Facebook. Anybody here on Facebook? Because I definitely go through my Facebook memories to be looking back at it. I said, oh my goodness, Queena. Queena, Queena, Queena. The lives you have lived. The lives you had lived. You know? Yes, the heart garden. You absolutely need friction. You absolutely need friction in life, right? Not only does it give you an opportunity to show you who you are, but it gives you an opportunity to connect to people around you, right? Without it, that connection isn't going to happen. That connection is not going to happen without it. I'm trying to, I feel like, do I have, I might have, I don't think I even have old Queena on my thing. So I've been creating content since I was about 13 years old. Since I was about 13 years old, I've been creating content. So sometimes when I look back at it, I know it's cringe. I know it's cringe, man. I know when y'all be looking at y'all memories, and I'm curious, like when your cringe starts. If you were to look back at your life, at what point are you gonna start being like, oh, that was me? I said those things? Let me know. Like at what point? Because for me, I could even look back maybe 4 years ago and be like, whoa, Queena. What was going on there, buddy? Okay, another idea for a speech. Borders are invisible and not real. Borders are self-made and worldwide man-made. Interesting. Where it's like, because I think that there's a metaphor here because it's like borders, restriction, um, and I also think what's interesting is that like I I immediately hear when you say that borders as in the borders on a country, right? The borders that separate New Jersey from the Atlantic Ocean. But I also believe that there are people who have borders and have the complete and total freedom to travel the world, right? Actually, beliefs are the borders to the reality that you exist in. There are things that stop you. They're like these barriers that you place into your existence that tell you that this is as far as you can go. This is as far as people can understand you or see you or relate to you. This is it. Fire. I like that. Refinement. That's a good one. Refinement is a good one because refinement is a conversation about every time you use the prefix re, it means to do again. Right? It means to do again. And I think that this could be refinement could even be a conversation about failure because failure stops a lot of people. They don't like reimagine or redesign or do any of these things. Like, nah, it's not about stopping. It's about refining what it is that you're doing. Right? Failure is just you figuring out ways to do things better. Then you refine. So that's a good one. Right? Refinement is a good one. People don't realize how long it takes. 13. Yeah, I was 13. I'm actually I want to pull up because what it is that I started picking up a camera and when I was I'm gonna show you the first thing that I ever created. And I think I don't want to say ever created, but like I guess ever recorded because it was when I got the camera that I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. This is the song. Where is it at? Oh my goodness. Could I find it? It's called Future. One of the first songs that I ever created, one of the first things that I ever created, it was called Future. And of course, that's what it would like the thing is I look very different from my younger self, or maybe you could also see like parts of like, me that makes me. But like one thing I will say for sure is that kid, that teenage version of Queena, man, she knew who and what she just knew. And I've been talking about the same things for my entire life. My entire life. Like I have always been talking about dream chasing, about believing in yourself, about like when I tell you just from the beginning of time. I listen back to it and it's like back then I didn't fully like know what I was fully saying, but I was saying it. Which is why words are wands. Words have so much power to who you are going to be and become. And for me, I was creating music. So I would create music about who it is that I wanted to become. I'd record videos on it, and then I would listen to myself on repeat. I used my own consciousness to give me the courage to become who I wanted to be. I used my own consciousness. I can't find it. That's so crazy. Maybe Kim has it. Because I want to show you all the video. Okay, whatever. Beliefs as borders. Yes. Yeah. I think that's the thing about it. Like, we don't realize, the subconscious beliefs that we have. And it's like when you have 7 minutes, to convey a message, you really have to do a lot to make sure that you don't lose the audience, It needs to be engaging. There needs to be a level of humor. There needs to be a level of relatability. You don't want to lose the audience trying to just teach them something. And the other thing about it too is that, like, when you do any type of speech, when you go up in front of an audience, they're supposed to walk away with one thing. That's it. They're supposed to walk away with one thing. And the better you can centralize what that one thing is, the greater chance you have of success. Like, Nike is a gigantic billion-dollar company, but every person is walking away with 3 words. Just do it. Just do it. It's as simple as that. It's like this grand thing of athletics and greatness and fuel and performance, and it means all of these things, but you're walking away with the simplicity of just do it. And then what happens with just do it? You could use that phrase, that sentence, that mantra in so many situations in your life. In fact, I'm assuming most people who use that sentence would show up in different situations in their life. So please keep dropping in the comments different ideas for this World Championship speech. Help me write this World Championship speech so that I can think about some idea. I'm like, yo, what's going on? I'm trying to be the best version of myself. And here's the thing about it too. I'm writing this speech, I'm writing this thing, but I'm also coming to grips with the fact that I know that there are parts of my identity that I just don't feel is the behavior of a world champion. I don't feel that way about it. So I'm also telling myself that I'm like, yo, Queena, you gotta embody the things, and how to really help somebody, I want to have gone through an experience that can really help them. For real. I want to go through an experience that can really help them. So yeah. Okay, cool. We got some more stuff in the comments. All right. So Kundalini energy, your state of consciousness changes when your energy moves from the base of back to the highest point of your head. You evolve, the world evolves, forgotten knowledge. Bars. I don't know much about Kundalini energy. That sounds very specific, but I am a big fan of change of consciousness. In fact, like, I arguably need to be able to come to grips too with, like, the content that I create, because I create a lot of content about getting funding for your businesses. I create a lot of content about people, about winning opportunities, whether it's like, if you're an artist, you're a creator, you're trying to create these things that you want in your life. The scenario is that after working with clients for the last 6 months, it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with money. Your lack of money or your lack of whatever it is it doesn't have anything to do with it. There's no amount of wisdom, practical advice, or strategy I can give to somebody that is going to solve that problem if they have limiting beliefs. There's no amount of information I can give you, because somewhere in the back of your subconscious, you're going to say to yourself, I'm not smart enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not prepared enough. I'm not ready. Like, somewhere in the back of your mind, no matter what I say, if those beliefs exist, there's nothing that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I can give you, I can write it all down for you. I'd be like, listen, you got to do A, you got to call them up, you got to tell them what your thoughts and then you got to send the email. But then when you go to think about it, you say to yourself, like, dang, I got to talk to people and stand in front of them, but I'm gonna feel exposed. I get scared when I talk in front of people. I can't do that. What if I stutter? What if something goes wrong? Then we're not at that point yet. We have several other problems. We have several other things to address before we can get to the point where I could tell you what it is that's going to make you $1 million. You're thinking about getting here not realizing that in order to get there, it's not about knowledge. In order to get what you want, it has nothing to do with knowledge. It has everything to do with identity. Everything to do with identity. If you are constantly trying to seek more information, but not have more understanding of self, you're working backwards. You're working backwards. And it's not gonna there's no amount that's going to assist you, because you're trying to change the world from the outside and not the inside, not realizing the outside is the effect and not the cause. All right, what else we got in here? Use self to evolve your higher version of self. Absolutely. From within. From within. I say this every single time, though, on every single live stream, to anybody who's out there and you're hearing me and you're like, yo, I know that I'm made for more. I know that I could build more in my life. I'm trying to go after it. Understand that I have so much grace, and I'm growing in grace, right? I'm definitely judgmental. I ain't gonna lie there, but I'm growing in grace when people have difficulties shifting identities, when people have difficulties changing. You know, when someone people will say like, oh, like, nobody really changes. Like, oh, they really can't change. Nothing really changes, whatever. Like anybody, I have so much grace for those people. I have so much grace for those situations, because changing your identity, changing your beliefs is quite arguably the most difficult thing that you could do on the planet. We be acting like it's easy. It's simple. It's not easy. So the people who have difficulties doing that, or it doesn't happen overnight, bro, I feel you, dog. I feel you. I feel you. Because the most complicated thing to deal with is dissonance. The act of hearing your higher self talk about the things that you should do, terrible word, but talk about the things that you should do or you could do, and then your lower self, or the self that you have in this current present, isn't fulfilling at that high capacity. That's hard. Man, I wish I would have started believing in myself earlier in my life. Better late than never, I guess. Absolutely. Absolutely. That doesn't what? Absolutely. You know, it was that when the when part is irrelevant. Irrelevant. The fact that there are people who have lived and died and still don't believe in themselves. There are people who have lived and died. And you young too. Fancy, how old are you? How old are you? Because the fact that you just said believe in myself earlier in my life. How old are you? How old are you? I'm about to come. I'm about to come for you. Tell me how old you are. Okay, gotta hop. Enjoy the process. The process is more important than the win. Absolutely. Absolutely. The process is more important than the win. That's why on my my profile I changed it. I am becoming the best in the world. And I'm talking about the best version of myself and in the best place that I could be. It's so much more important to become the world champion than it is for me to be the world champion. All right. What is the world champion? Who is to say you don't? Maybe the definition of champion is more expansive than we think. For sure. For sure. It's like, what is it that you are going to conquer? And then everyone's on a different spectrum. Everyone's on a different spectrum. I know that there are friends that I have outgrown, right? There is a spectrum to the world. You have friends that you have outgrown because you operate at a higher capacity than they ever could. There's nothing wrong with them. It's not like a situation on them, but you have a higher calling. You have the ability to deal with discomfort and discipline in a way that other people can't. A willingness to trust yourself and intuition that other people can't. But the thing is that capacity exists on a spectrum. There is undoubtedly someone in this universe that is more disciplined or dedicated to whatever they're doing than you are, than I am. I'm okay with that, because there are people who are willing to climb Mount Everest. I am not one of those people. I am not one of those people. I forget. Hold on. I feel like there's a stat for that. How many people? Okay, yeah, there's a stat for that. At least 340 people have died attempting to climb Mount Everest. Like, it is said that when you go to climb, you could possibly discover the bodies of the people who didn't make it past before. And that's like, when I be thinking about that, I'm like, oh goodness, because there are people who are willing to do more than I am. God bless them. I honestly just want to be around people. Like, I always aim, I say always, but like really in the shift of identity, I'm aiming now to be around more people who operate at a higher capacity than I currently do. Because I want their judgment. I'm not going to hold you. I want their judgment. I want a little bit of their shame. My most popular video on my Instagram is about talking to a millionaire, and I felt shame when I wasn't making the money that they thought that I should be making. And it drove something in me. I was like, you know what? I should be. But then if I'm operating, or if I'm still talking to the people who I was talking before, the ones that I outgrew, they look at me and be like, dang, Quinny, you made a few grand on the internet. That's crazy. You the craziest thing in the universe. You've reached the pinnacle. You've reached the pinnacle. Meanwhile, you talk to somebody with a private jet and you're just out here like, and I'm not saying to keep chasing for, because there's always going to be more. But I think that's part of the unlock that happens. There's always more. So part of me is like trying to stay in the present, but also realizing that if I have one time on this planet, if I have only one lifetime to exist, why not stretch myself to the farthest possibility? Why not try to achieve the things that I see behind my eyelids? Why not? Why not go for that expansive? I knew you was done here preaching. Yo, you funny. Oh, you're preaching. You know what I mean? I'm just talking to myself. You know what I mean? All right. Simple, not easy. Yes. 39. 39? Come on, man. Fancy you 39? Yo, that's great. Earlier in life. You just started. You got more life ahead of you than behind you. You know what I mean? Shout out to July 5th. That make you a Leo or a Cancer? That make you a Cancer. You feel things. That's like you a Cancer, ain't you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's up, water sign? I'm a Pisces. I'm a Pisces sun. I'm a Cancer rising, and I'm a Leo moon. So I know you feel things. What's up? Michelle? What's up, Medusa? You know what I mean? What's up to the poets? Oh, let me read some of these comments because Lord, I lost you guys. And also keep in mind too, I'm using StreamYard to stream everything. So one, if you want to hop onto the stream, I do this 12 p.m. EST Monday through Friday. If you want to rewatch the stream, I've been, doing it consistently. You can go to my YouTube channel. That's at the link in my bio. I might actually just add it to this thing so that that would make more sense. I'm gonna add it right here so that you can subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm out here trying to grow the channels. All right, cool. Subscribe to my YouTube. All right, cool. There you go. Linked up there. All right, what else we got? The things we all wish we knew. Yes, you are nailing it with the belief topic. I'm going to suggest that as your title, rooting for you all the way. I appreciate that. I think beliefs really might be, that's one of the ones that I have really been sitting with in terms of the speech that I'm going to do for the World Championship. I really do feel like that's the one that I'm sitting with. I think beliefs are the thing, because the thing is that my goal is to write a speech. And this is the same way that I write my music. I'm going to play one of my old songs from when I was a kid, but I write music, right? So I rap or, I write poetry and things like that, but I write it specifically so that I can listen to myself on repeat to get me through a situation that I'm in. I know that can sound crazy. The other people do affirmations or subliminals. I'll make a song about me, dealing with something difficult, or a moment in time. And I would just keep listening to it. Like one of the songs that I wrote is called Matter of Time. And it's a song that I wrote because I kept feeling like I've been going after this journey for a long time. I have been public speaking for 25 years. And I've been a full-time artist for 6 years. But before I went full-time, it took me 13 years. I spent so much money, so much time, so much energy, so much nonsense. You know what I mean? I dropped out of college. I was like struggling to pay bill, all that kind of stuff, but I had so much fun. You couldn't stop me from creating. I had so much fun. I was delusional. My mama was concerned. My mama was concerned, and she's a Jamaican immigrant. Anybody first gen? Drop in the chats. Anybody first generation? Yes, happy belated for sure, because your birthday just came around the corner. I tuned in right in time. This is exactly what I need to hear. I'm glad. This is stream of consciousness. There's no real topic. I'm just literally talking about what it is that I'm going through today, but also just I'm also consistently talking about what it means for us to shift our identities. I don't know a single human being on the planet who isn't interested, who isn't in the process of trying to evolve some aspect of their life. Finances, relationship, career, the artist journey, the voice in your head that's constantly telling you this is what you should be doing, and you're just upset that you're not listening to it, or you're trying to figure out a way to make it happen, or if in or just the simple fact that your reality is so loud that could be hard to hear your subconscious thoughts, to understand who it is that you are and what it is that you wanted to do. So I got to keep saying it. This is almost like a journal. So anybody who hops in, I pray that like when anybody hops in, it's just like for that 30 seconds they may join the live, or that minute you may join the live, you hear something, you say, you know what, I'm gonna just repeat that to myself, but that's something that's gonna make me inspire me to move through the next hour. I want that heat too. Oh, y'all really, happy birthday. I feel like we gotta say happy birthday. Everybody's like, yo, happy birthday, man. Oh no, you what's up? Like you was born. You here with us. You know what I mean? You here with us. Okay. Oh, Virgo. I feel like that's my opposite sign, right? Oh, we dropping signs in the chat. Hold up. Okay, hold up. I gotta catch up. Yeah, really having a conversation. Okay. Scorpio moon, Sagittarius rising. I love me a Scorpio. I love me a Scorpio. I'm not gonna hold you. I have a problem. I have a problem that I don't want to solve. I love me a Scorpio. The depth of a Scorpio, because I'm mostly water, right? I'm a Pisces sun, I'm a Cancer rising, and I'm a Leo moon. I'm mostly water, got a little bit of fire, right? So the way my emotions, right? I'm sensitive. And I'm wearing that on my sleeve. And so I'm over with now. But like when I was, there have been times people call me sensitive before. I used to come at them. I used to be able to say, but now, now I'm like, yeah, I am. My sensitivity, my emotions, they make me more human. And the fact that I'm a poet changed the game, because now I have these emotions, but I know how to communicate them in a way that is so vivid and so detailed that when I say things, other people can feel them as well. So I think Virgo is my opposite sign. I don't really know like everything about all the signs, but I think that's my opposite. All right. Okay. And we got the matching on the rise, Cancer rising. Okay, cool. All right. I'm trying to go full-time artist. I'm almost there. You're already there. Yeah. So, and this is the part of the reality creation, is that like you can't have what you don't already have. You cannot have what you do not already have. It's the most annoying law of the universe. I was a full-time artist before I stopped working. I was a full-time artist before I stopped working. Even when I had a job, right? Even when I was working in like a W-2 job, if somebody asked me what you did, I would never tell them the answer, the W-2 answer. I would never tell them. Don't tell people that, because that is not who you are, right? Because the goal is for you to live in the future self. Act as if. What difference does it make? You're not going to be in this reality much longer anyway. You already know. You almost there. You almost there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got some Jamaicans in here too. All right, shout out to the Caribbean folk. That you know what it means when I told my mama she came to this country with her kids, and I said, listen, mom, this school thing, and it's not like I wasn't a smart kid. She immediately assumed, she's like, oh, Queen, she's gonna go to school, she's gonna do this, she's probably gonna, she's probably gonna be a lawyer. That's what she's gonna do. It's like, what are you gonna do, Queena? I'm gonna be a poet. I'm going to read poems, and I'm gonna travel the world reading poems. That's what I'm gonna do. It's like, Lord have mercy, this picnic drive me crazy. I can speak patois. I definitely can understand it, but my patois is only through aggression. Like if you ever hear me speak patois, it is only anger, because that I've mastered, because that's all I faced. My aunts and uncles, when they was talking to me, the only thing they was angry. Jesus picnic, Lord have mercy. You can't do that. I can angry patois, easy. If I had to be nice to somebody in patois, I don't know if I could speak it. All right. I don't know if I could speak it. Yes, you are already a full-time artist. You need to speak in the present tense. I am. I am. And the thing about and I know the immediate thing, whenever I tell somebody that, the immediate thing that comes into their head is like, one, well, how do I even believe that? Because my reality doesn't say that. How do I believe something that my reality does not currently say? That's ridiculous. That's insanity. Hi, I'm Queena. I'm insane. And if you're trying to go after a dream, which by definition means that you aren't conscious to the reality you exist in, then you need to be insane too. Okay? Delusion is a prerequisite. And if you are coming onto this live and you want to live in a logical universe, I would suggest you go ahead and hop off and click unfollow, because I irritate you. I would irritate you. And I have before. I have lost plenty of friendships in my life because people were looking at me like, Queena, come on, like you got to be in reality. Like we can't just. Why would I want to be there? Because I'm not going to exist there. So why do I need it? The key to getting what it is that you want, when the reason why people say affirmation should be present tense, the reason why people say that is because you cannot have what you don't already have. Like I can't have a pen unless I have a pen. So the moment you have any desire or willingness to get something else like that, the only way you could have it is by having it. And it's the little things. So when someone looks at me and they say to themselves, well, how do I believe in a reality that I do not currently exist in? Ignore it. Ignore the reality you exist in. And you want to get better at ignoring the reality you exist in? Find more beliefs that contradict the one that you are trying to get rid of. So if you say to yourself, I want to be a full-time artist, but then you're going to work every day, give me 2 or 3 examples about makes you a full-time artist. You do a open mic, a virtual open mic that happens every single Monday, or you travel in to go to like So Fried, or you like setting yourself up to do a feature. What you do in order to change any belief, you have to have new experiences that contradict the previous ones. That's how you shift them. That's how you shift them. Yeah, now I'm going to be a poet. I was like, I'm going to be a poet. I want to say words, mommy. I want to say words. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm gonna get into the comments, but I'm gonna tell you something, is that when I told my mama that I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna go to school. I'm going to work. But listen, I'm Caribbean. So I had 3-4 W-2 jobs. I have done everything from firefighting to software engineering. All right. I am smart. Not smart in the sense that most people would think we're like, okay, Queena can read a lot of books or whatever. I have the ability to acquire skills. I have hyper focus. So if I need to learn something, I will learn it. If you go to my Instagram page right now, I shoot, I write, I edit, I design everything. Everything you see on there, I do. There's not a single thing that I don't do. And if you look at anything that I create, I do the logos, I do the funnel, I do the writing. There's nothing, because I learned it. That's what I did. Instead of me going to school, I was on YouTube University. You can't stop me from learning something new. Matter of fact, the best thing that I used to do, and this is honestly what I also tell people who are trying to go full-time, find jobs where you learn skills that will help you in your full-time career. So the jobs that I was doing, I was like, all right, let me go find a marketing job. So I can learn how they run their Google ads, because they're going to show me, and I'm going to get money in the process of it. I never worked because I wanted to like work there. Sure, I made the money, but my favorite way to learn something new is when you pay me to do it. My favorite way. But I'm going to tell you, and this is, I don't know if anybody knows this about my story, but I'm going to say this right here, right now, right? I was working all those jobs, and I was able to quit my job in 2019 because I won my first grant, this blue movie poster. It was called Day Job, the Dream Job, right? Even after my mama told me that this was crazy, even after all my friends that went off to college, all that kind of stuff, and I was still chasing this dream for years. And they just looking at me like, okay, Queena, you about to do that or whatever. I won $100,000. They paid me $100,000 to quit my job and then do a national poetry tour. My mama looked at me eyes open when I told her what happened. And I was like, Mom, I'm flying out to LA. I'm taking you with me, and I'm going to show you what this is. What? Yeah, go LA. Me I see the Walk of Fame. And now, oh God, now she want to talk about Queena world champion. Yes, no. Yes, she dip on the Facebook and she had this. Look pan her. She Share this. This her video. Yes, you can watch her on the YouTube. My mama, bro, my mom funny as hell, son. And my mom's coming with me to the World Championships too. My mom's got, we just booked her flight. Okay, so we got any other? Okay, so we got some patois speakers. You know what I mean? Some patois speakers. All right, bet. Speak that. I'm glad you go with the Delulu. We could be locked in, because if you're not delusional, we can't. Oh, you can't hear my audio. What? Is that true? Oh, okay. It probably just came out real quick. I can't even hear myself, to be honest with you, because I don't use monitors. So I'm gonna completely rely on y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna completely rely on y'all. What are we at with time? All right, cool. I'm here for 10 more minutes. Excuse me. So hopefully, all right, bet. Cool. Just making sure. I think it was more so because it was like, man, internet schmitternets that be happening. Okay. Cool. I was looking up the world champion, but the definition says defender of a cause. Bar. Defender of bringing. I'm gonna write that down. To anyone who's also curious, one of the things that I talked about when I first hopped on here is that I'm competing in the World Championships of Public Speaking, and I have in 30 days. It's in like 34 days, I believe, and I haven't written my speech yet. Am I insane? Absolutely. Am I about to go under an immense amount of pressure? Absolutely. Does anybody else wait for the last minute to do things? Because hi, I'm Queena. We should be friends. Even on the world's largest stage, I still am who I am. Okay, I'm waiting to the last possible moment, and then watch me write this shit, and then also memorize it. I'll be in the back of the room like, boom, and deliver it flawlessly. And I tell you one thing too, even if, and I know it's crazy, but because I've been doing it so long, even if I drop a poem, if I drop a piece, I will freestyle. It'd be a cold day in hell before you see me fumble up on stage. You may think you're like, yo, she's going off on a train of thought there. I didn't think they was going to turn that way, but I will keep talking. That's for sure. I'm going to write this down. Nurture. But I was asking folks, like, what is it that you think I should write about? It's an international competition. It's it's a competition where people are coming from all around the world. So I want to make sure the topic is universal, right? I don't want to talk about something super specific. Like, I want to talk about something in my life for sure, like a story from my life, but one that conveys emotion that is a universal emotion, where somebody can feel like, okay, I had a time in my life where I had to believe in myself, or I had a time in my life where I feel like I didn't belong, or I had a time in my life where I had to do a transformation, and they can walk away with something that they can sit with. Because the goal of any story, just like the goal of any poem or anything that you're saying, even a piece of content, is for people to see themselves in it. The fourth reality of being the greatest. Okay, hold on. You said defender of bringing. Okay. I'm writing down your Instagram name and your topics, because if I'm like, yo, I'm gonna really write about this, then I'm gonna have to shout you out or something. All right, cool. Y'all kikiing in the comments with yourselves. Because I'm like, Lord. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with y'all. And there's like a delay for it. Oh, they're both okay. They're all together. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna copy and paste all the comments that you just said. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy and paste them, so that I'm gonna get the full sentence. Boom. Got it. All right. I'm gonna copy. Boom. All right, cool. Copy that. He's like, listen, I can't post what I really want to post, so you gotta glue them together. All right, this is the type of hype I needed today. Bars. I'm glad. This is the type of hype I needed, because this brings me energy. Because the hardest. So I'm keep telling you guys I'm going to show you what I have going on, but I want to show you something else too. I started doing this stream of consciousness on Monday, right? And one of the other reasons is because creating content for me is too strenuous. I'm always like overthinking it. I'm always like, going through this process. So I made this. I literally used AI to create a clipper for me so that as soon as I complete this episode, I create this entire thing. I coded myself. I maybe made it in an hour, right? And I'll put stream of consciousness in here, right? It uploads it. It'll auto transcribe it, and then it'll do everything. It'll cut all my clips. It'll edit everything. It'll create my hook. It'll create my caption and all of that. And this has been a game changer this week because I'm now posting 20 to 30 short form reels on Instagram a day, all about consciousness. Everything that we're talking about in this video is going to be chopped up and sent over, right? And I've been doing that, and it's been so helpful for me because I'm coming from source. I'm coming from source, and it feels so great. So if you are if you're building something, you're doing something, please start using automation to create the things that you want to create, because we now live in a time where you can make whatever software you need. We now live in that time. Is it a debate or a speech? How much time do you have for it? So the World Championships is a speech. The speech is going to be 5 to 7 minutes long. That's the max amount of time. You have 5 to 7 minutes to do your speech. And I am competing. I am in the top 25 right now. So I've been competing since December of 2025. I'm now in the top 25. I've done 5 rounds of competition, and it's in Vancouver. The top 25 were split. So I have semifinals first. In semifinals, I go against 6 other people. And then the next day is finals. Finals is top 8. Top 8. And my goal for the competition, one, getting past semifinals. There's no way I'm about to do all this work, fly all the way to Vancouver, and lose in the first round. Not happening. I am a finalist. Okay? That's how we're going to speak that into existence. I am a finalist. Now, once I make it the final stage, once I'm in top 8, the Lord God Almighty to what happens next. Glory be to God to what happens next. You say it like, glory be to God to what happens next. When I first started this competition, I'm like, yeah, I want to be the world champion. I want to be the best. I want to be number 1. I'm not, girl, y'all, at final stage, whatever happens, I'm like, to God be the glory. I'm top 8. I'm one of the best speakers in the world. I'm one of the best speakers in the world now. But top 8, let's go there. Let's go there. And lo and behold, no matter what happens, man, whether I win, lose, or draw, I'm going to keep talking. That's what I'm going to keep doing. That's what I'm going to keep doing. Let's go. Y'all need grants. Can you share what to do so I can help me out with suggestions? I got you. Please pardon my manners. Oh, all good. I'm going to read it out loud. I'm going to read it out loud just for you. Everything I copied. And it says, I was looking up the word champion, and part of the definition says defender of a cause. You mentioned the word delusion and dreams. Could it be a title of defender of bringing forth reality of the biggest, of being the greatest? Fourth reality of being the greatest. I am, and I'm being you all with me to see the sun. It's me. That's what I got. So you clarify if I got the gist of it. You know what I'm saying? You clarify if I got the gist of it. And so now in terms of the I need grants person. All right, bar time debrief. Can I share what I do so you can help me out with suggestions? How see what we got with time. All right, yeah, you got a few minutes. Talk to me more about what is it that you do? What is it that you do and you're looking to get grants for it? Because it's also interesting. I feel like I'd be talking to the gambit of people who's like, oh yeah, I want grants. I want to shift my identity. Can you help me with both? Can you help me with both? And it's honestly and truly like, yeah. So if you say it out loud, but I'm almost guaranteed to tell you something that is involved with mindset and belief systems. I could like it because I have a book. Right. So I have a book that's in my Instagram bio, literally of the 15 ways that I find funding. Right. So if you want to automate the process of finding grants, you will never need me again. You will never need me again. Because if you grab that book, that's literally every grant I've ever won. From the one that I won $100,000 to the one that I've won private funding. I've won from AT&T, from the federal government, from people. From random people who want to do good in the world. I've won grants from all of them. And all of that is like, I literally wrote down all 15 of the ways that I do that so that anybody who asked me, I would just send them the book. that's where you go. You want those answers? That's where it's at. And add the number 8 in your speech, speak it to existence. Boom. Name of the book. It's called Fund Your Vision. My legs. Oh my goodness. You would think I was, I sound 33. You heard all them sounds getting up? Lord, my knees. All right. It's called Fund Your Vision. That is the name of my book. It is called Fund Your Vision, the complete funding guide for those doing it alone. Right. And when I tell you, like, it's literally, boom. So I'll give you an example. Like, there's like, it is a breakdown in here. Mind you, the book is it's an ebook. So I just want to clarify, it's an ebook. It's an ebook. So I just printed the physical copy because in the process of me creating it, I wanted to bring it into my physical space. So I believed that I was an author. Right. Again, I don't even realize in a lot of ways how I'll be out here changing consciousness, but this is what it is. But the first method in the book, right? If you want to, this is a key one. The first method in the book is Google Alerts. If you don't use Google Alerts to find grants, you're wilding. Google Alerts is dope. Where it's like, I will set Google Alerts for all of the things, all the keywords that would get me grants for the things that I do. I can't do that you can't set it. You can't use exactly mine because it's like, I'm going for grants for poets or grants for, I don't know, creators or something like that. But if you are somebody who's like, oh, I got a small business or I got a whatever, that's how you do that. Right. Setting up Google Alerts. And this is like a breakdown on how to set it up and then also how to build your keywords so that you're not just typing in the same thing and like, you start learning other words in your industry. But yeah, there's 15 different methods and it's literally step-by-step instructions, like step-by-step instructions on how to do it. Diagrams and everything. Diagrams and everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly how you do it. That's how you fund your vision. And the reason I got so good at grants is because I had to learn how to make money. I told y'all. I needed to figure out how to get these shillings. And I use the skill that I do. I'm a poet. So it's like, if I'm a poet, then grants seems like it's going to be a perfect thing for me. I'm writing. I have to convince somebody to give me money. That just means I have to be vivid with my language. I have to be emotional. I have to be resonant. All those things. You know what I'm saying? So please check that out. Please check that out. All right. So I did not see the comment come in from Bar Time. I think that was what your name is. I didn't see the comment come in from Bar Time. So I guess my suggestion for you would be to buy my book. Would be to buy the ebook. That's what my suggestion would be. Buy the ebook and then use the ebook as a means of learning about there's a lot of grant one-on-one stuff in here, which is like the Speak the Money section. So I have a dictionary in here of all of the words that you're going to come across in the process of grant funding, what I realize most people don't understand, right? They'll see like a LOI or they see this thing, and there's a strategy to it. When people be posting things, the people who lose grants are the ones who read the post and don't know what to do with it. They're just like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to tell these people about how I want money. The reason I win is because I tell people what they want to hear. Difference. I'll tell people exactly what they want to hear. Why do I do that? Because I want to get exactly what I want to get. That's why I do that. Will I be live on the weekend? I will not be. No, Monday through Friday. This weekend, I'm going to take a trip. I'm going on a trip in my favorite rocket ship, going through the skies. I'm going to be in the trees. I'm going to be in the trees. That's where I'm going to be. Absolutely not. I am disconnecting. That's what I'm going to be doing. So to every single person who did hop onto this live video, first off, I truly appreciate you and your presence for coming to spend time with me, because there is no true purpose to the stream besides just having a stream of consciousness. We are simply existing in this moment together, hopefully inspiring each other, making each other feel better about what we have going on, giving each other just a little bit more encouragement to get us through the day and the time, the situation, the transition that we are all existing in. I am live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. EST. And if you are watching this on replay, please drop in the comments what you are creating, what you are building, what you took away from this conversation, because I read them all, and then I will come back on the next stream of consciousness to have those kind of conversations. Of course, if you want to hop on live, we could also have a conversation back and forth as it's actually happening. Right. So if you're saying to yourself when you're listening to the replay, like, dang, I want to say something, I wish I would have been able to say, hop on the live. All right. Instagram, Twitch, and Instagram, Twitch, and on YouTube. Of course, you can subscribe to my channel. Look at my previous message, please. I did. And you said, not being, I'm bringing all that is with me to see the sun or to see me shine. It's me. I got that, right? Yeah, I copied and pasted that one. So you just, you know what I mean? Make sure I got it. I'm like, don't even worry about it. But you know what? You know what it is? I got a better one for you. I got a better one for you, because I know you're adamant. You're like, yo, no, I'm telling you, this is a great idea. I'm going to send you a DM. I'm going to send you a DM. And in the DMs, you can nurture, boom, follow back. All right, cool. I just requested you. Bet I just requested. I can't send you a message right now, but I just requested you. And once you accept my request, you will then be a supporter and able to send me a full context. You know what I'm saying? So that I get the whole context. So I'm not out here confused about all of the breakups or whatever. So please send me over a message, and then I will be able to see the idea that you have for the speech. As I was saying, yes, back here, 12 p.m. EST, Monday through Friday. Hop in during your lunch. You do not have to stay for the whole hour. Just come on, just to like kiki, talk about whatever it is you're trying to create. I really do hope that this is going to be the difference, because I know that every single person who watches this video is trying to create something in their life, trying to shift their reality. The greatest thing is that every single human being is a creator, and you do have the ability to create, whether it's art, whether it's your consciousness, whether it's reality. You just have to be able to believe in yourself enough to do it. And I am here to encourage you, and I'm hopefully these people are here to also encourage me. I truly appreciate every single one of you, and of course, keep creating. Peace. Bye everyone. Have a good day. Bye. See you later.